What is going on, everybody? Happy massive Wednesday. Bobby Fi and Eric G. Tabor. Every single team in the NBA is playing tonight. And we have news all over the place. You can see the little red arrow that's
Well, that's what I was going to say. So we always try to like teach somebody something, you know. So
Yep.
one thing we can teach almost every day is this red lightning bolt, because that shows up every day. Okay.
Yep.
And what all this means is, if you hover it, says you have players that are out in your lineups. So the first thing you should always do before you do anything, just in case, just click on it and get those guys out.
Yep.
Now, again, we're going to have to rebuild everything with new projections, but at least this way, at least I know that those guys are out. So
Right.
Why don't you review what you were just telling me about who, at least for now, are the players we're watching for as far as questionables and stuff?
Okay, there's a lot of them. Anthony Edwards, Jaylen Brown, Şengün, Zion. Zion was a midday downgrade. Tyler Hero, Anunoby, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., PJ Washington, Jeremy Grant, Mike Conley, Nick Claxton, Diabate, Dante Exum, and Duncan Robinson.
That's it.
Those are the questionable. Doubtful are Jalen Suggs, who's out now actually, and Lonzo Ball, who is doubtful but not out.
Oh, so I thought there were a lot of people. Oh, it's just those guys. Okay, that's not
just those 16.
Yeah, and then guys will show up like Lillard at the last second just came up with it.
Yeah, then you have probable like LeBron, Luka, Trae Young, all those guys should play. Vooch, I'm not sure. Jamal Murray, Austin Reeves, Josh Hart. I'm guessing most of those, if not all of those guys play.
So let's, like I said, there's at 10:30, 10:40, no, 10:45. I said I'm going to be doing a live sweat where I go through the NBA slate. The lobbies. I guess the first thing I'll look at is obviously the Millie Maker, and as you so perfectly put it, they're offering $1 million for first. They should give you $1 million bonus if you.
Yeah, this is the tough one.
I mean, you're going to earn, whoever wins that has totally earned it. And the other thing I'm going to do, by the way, I'm going to start doing PGA lineup builds, but it's not going to be my final one like I usually do, just because it's such a late start tomorrow. Because it's in
what time does it start at?
12:30 p.m. Eastern.
Oh my God! I don't need to worry about all my golf tonight. That means.
Yeah, I mean, and who knows when it actually plays?
Right.
I mean, you're like boots on the ground, or I guess say galoshes on the ground out there. Is it threatening to postpone, you think, or?
I don't know if they'll postpone the whole thing. It's supposed to come down crazy tomorrow. It's starting to rain pretty hard today. Pretty weird how it's just depending on the week, we got flood warnings everywhere and power outage warnings right after we just got over with the fire warnings. It's
right. I mean, that's quite the irony, right? So the reason why it's at this place in the first place is because there was no water.
Yeah, exactly. And
all the water you want right now.
Yeah, now it's too much water, so it's like, oh my God. Yeah, it is ironic. For what it's worth, Diabate is out now too.
Oh, well, that changes everything.
It could.
It could, of course.
Diabate was a guy who actually was a really good play, but the thing that really changes is will they let, and they didn't, I don't think I even had a projection on him, but this might be the best. Nurkic might end up becoming like the best play on the slate.
What team? I literally don't know what team he plays for. Charlotte.
So will they go with the Taj Gibson thing again? Or are they going to let Nurkic kind of cook? They just traded for him. Let's let him have a game.
Well, I think what we should do, again, I'm not updating projections for at least a half an hour.
No,
it's just stupid. But what I was going to say is maybe we should talk about the slate in terms of pockets, of time slots, right?
I like that. And what I did, I'll just say my plan is today is I went through all the late games, starting with the latest games backwards, and everyone I thought could have a little bump, I gave them an extra bump because I at least can make decisions later in that case. Now we already have some news on the early games, so we're going to change some things, but I want to look at the early games as a first thing. And outside of maybe taking a shot on Wemby in San Antonio, I don't think I'm going to get a bunch from the first game. However, if Jaylen Brown is out again, I'm happy to go right back to the Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard, all of those guys I expect to get to some of. Porzingis, Derek White. All these guys are decent plays anyway, but if Jaylen Brown is out, that's where all that would come from for me.
Well, so we have 3 games at 7 o'clock. San Antonio, the San Antonio, Boston, Charlotte, Orlando, Indiana, Washington. So
Right.
you kind of touched on San Antonio, Boston. If Jaylen Brown is out, then we're going to have to deal with that. Aside from that, though, I mean, again, for all the reasons that we've talked about, unless something really, really stands out, it's just going to get pushed off for me.
Yeah.
So that game is not too big of a deal. The Charlotte Orlando one, remember we talked about this earlier. It's like you had these big values coming from Charlotte, and now you're throwing another one into the mix, maybe with Nurkic.
Yeah.
That's I mean, between that and I'm running these just to see like in current projection levels what I'd be getting of those two Charlotte guys I talked about earlier, the Nick Smith Jr. and forget the other guy. But whatever it is, I was getting a bunch of them.
Obama?
Yeah. No, it was remember it was Nick Smith Jr. and somebody else, but nonetheless, I'm not getting like any of them right now.
But you are getting, I'm guessing, a bunch of Mo Bamba, I would imagine.
Oh no, I'm getting KJ Simpson.
Wait, Nick Smith, you were thinking like Charlotte. No, Nick Smith plays for Phoenix, so
No, I'm talking about Charlotte.
yeah, I know, but Nick Smith plays for Phoenix. You said Nick Smith. But I think, I'm sorry, Nick Smith, you're right. I was thinking Nick Richards, excuse me. Nick Richards was traded from Charlotte to Phoenix. Nick Smith is still on Charlotte, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything of Mo Bamba here. Should I be getting that?
He's on Phoenix, and yeah. Oh, no, not Mo Bamba. I said Mo Bamba. I meant Bol. God damn, it's too many things. Maxi's out. Too many things going on.
All right, so let me start over here.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, Nick Smith, and KJ Simpson were still showing up, and not as much.
Right.
Like right now, Bol is the main value, and Gary Trent Jr. is showing up right now. As good value. Thomas Bryant still. Durant moved up a little bit. Missy, you mentioned him before.
Yep.
But again, you have Gordon question. We have all kinds of questionables going on. So you just mentioned that Maxey is out, right?
Maxey is out, which we have to wait to update. Yeah.
Okay. That game starts at 7:30. Okay.
Yes.
So without we don't have to speculate, but we could speculate. So who's going to show up as a good play for Philly?
Paul George. Unfortunately, I think Quentin Grimes is going to show up. I like Grimes as a real life player. I don't know that I want to trust in that, but I think it's going to more likely you're going to see like Jared Butler. Probably Jared Butler is the answer.
Jared Butler, huh?
I mean, he's been doing it with these guys playing. So yikes! I just put Paul George at 0. Let me do that. Let me reset that one. Maxey, I have it 0. Okay, that's right. Yeah, Paul George, Jared Butler, Kelly Oubre, probably Justin Edwards and Ricky Council, maybe Jeff Doughton, depending on who starts.
Has Paul George had good games this year or no?
Yeah, I mean, and when these guys were both out before. I think he had. Let me just double check before because I checked this out earlier today. Okay, so Paul George, yeah, he had he had some 50s back to back. He's 7,500. I don't really know what the argument, unless they just decided to forfeit the game. I guess they played last night, so maybe you could say that's a knock on him.
Forfeit the game? It's like a pick 'em. I mean, like
I know they're actually favored.
So wait a minute. So we'll get back to there. So Charlotte, Orlando. You think that the Isaac news is going to bump anything?
Not really. Could you make more of a case for Wendell Carter? Probably, or Batatse. But I just think that there's better. I just think there's other stuff that is more. It's more relevant.
So tell me more about this Nurkic thing. So does he have to? I mean, are they going to start him? Is that what you're looking for?
So I'm saying if they start, yes, that I'm looking for. If they start Nurkic, then we have a different chalk center that we're now going to be talking about whether Thomas Bryant is the right player or not. And by the way, I'm still not sure that he is, and there's just plenty of other options. But we haven't. I don't think we've gotten the full update for that one yet. I think Nurkic has some upside here. I mean, they're missing a million guys, Charlotte, so it's going to be hard to totally ignore them in a terrible matchup where they probably get smashed. Daquan Jeffries is probably another one that could show up. I really am curious what their starting lineup would be, and I'm actually going to take a look and see if I can find a projected starting lineup because that's key. See, they have Taj Gibson still projected to start. If that happens, he's got to we have to get the projections updated, but because he's got a 0 projection, there's they probably just go back to starting him and bring off Nurkic. But I think Nurkic still makes for an interesting tournament play, depending on how healthy we really feel he is. I don't know what to do with that one, to be honest with you, unless we hear some coach speak, because I think it's a really interesting tournament dart. He's not super. He's 4,500. It's not like he's free. And you've got Klingon later, who's 4,600 with a really good projection. So, I don't know that we have to do any of that. But I'm gonna actually bump up Klingon's.
So all right. So we're doing about this in buckets. So Charlotte, we might be playing Nurkic. The Nick Smith Jr. still looks like a good play. And then in Indiana, Thomas Bryant still, it looks like a good play. Is it the best play? I don't know, but right. Certainly looks like a good play. So from that first pocket of games, like the guys that you'd have to make decisions on is if Thomas Bryant looks really good, you know what I mean? Whether to play him. If Nurkic starts, whether to play him, whether to play the Nick Smith Jr., and then we're watching for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Right? That I think takes care.
Jaylen Brown is now out.
Okay. So what did you just mention? So Jaylen Brown being out. Well, first of all, someone's going to start for him. And that would be who?
It'll be Horford.
Okay. We don't have to play Horford, right?
No, it'll be Hauser who starts for him. Sorry.
Oh.
I'm guessing because Hauser started for him the last time this happened. I actually do think Horford's okay, and Horford put up a big game the other night without him. Put up 36. It's interesting. I would guess that Hauser starts again and looks like a pretty good play at 3,900, but not one you have to do.
Okay. But what about like the good play? What about like Tatum?
Yeah, boost to Tatum for sure.
Yeah. And what about the other? Derek White? He still plays?
Yeah, Derek White. I think Derek White, Porzingis, and Tatum are all good plays, but it's such a huge slate. I don't even know that you don't need to do any of it because they're not. None of them are like super cheap. They just played without him. There's always some blowout risk with them. They always have a chance to blow out anybody they're playing. I got a feeling the Spurs may be able to keep it kind of close though. Yeah, I'm sort of waiting for the projections to update on that one. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Okay. So to get through 7:00, you have to deal with Boston value, maybe. Charlotte.
Yep.
And whether to play Thomas Bryant. Like the other guys, I don't even, not they're not playable, but I still think I need to go play like Jordan Poole. You know what I mean? Like I could.
Right.
But I don't think I need to.
Yeah, Jared Butler right now has got like the 8x projection on SaberSim. I don't know if it's going to stay that high for Philadelphia.
All right, we'll get there.
All right, yeah, I just throwing it out there because I just was looking at the.
We'll take a look. Let me take a look and see what the Butler looks like.
And Nurkic too.
Oh wow! So I didn't even see that update. Let me just see. I saw Quentin Grimes. Sure, but Butler's gonna have to start, right? For
not necessarily, but like whoever does start in that spot, yes. But it doesn't mean you can't. Like there's every bit as good a chance that the other guys off the bench do it. Jared, but like I mentioned,
yeah, here he is.
He's a good fantasy producer. He put up 28 in 15 minutes in the last game yesterday. He would be very near impossible to avoid if he's starting, I think.
Yeah.
But it's weird because they've got like Justin Edwards, who started the last game, not even projected to start, but because Grimes started the second half. So it's really curious to just see what they do. And I think that's a big thing we're waiting on right now is who's actually the starting lineup.
So again, we're preparing to absorb. So if Butler starts, he's going to be, I don't want to say a lot. He's going to be best value, I think.
Yeah,
yeah, him. Well, we'll get that. Brooklyn, I don't think I have anything over there. Cleveland, Toronto, where I was looking at some Toronto guys earlier. This is part of the 7:30, right? There's 3 games. So the Philly, Brooklyn, we're gonna have to deal with Butler, and maybe other guys. Maybe Oubre again.
Yeah, I would say probably you're going to end up getting multiple guys look pretty good from. I think Paul George, Oubre, Butler and Grimes will be the best projected ones.
Toronto again looked good earlier, but again we had issues, right? A back-to-back tough match. You know, the whole not tough matchup, but just back-to-back with travel. But you know, quickly quickly Grady Dick and Scotty Barnes still look decent,
Right.
So they're fine. I don't know if I can get to Cleveland, you know, on this slate.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 7:30 game is kind of the spec game. You know, the Atlanta and Knick game. I mean, I was well, first of all, I was speculating just to go play Trae Young because, right?
Yeah.
Trae Young and Brunson. But you also mentioned that OG Anunoby
and McBride,
their game time decisions, is that going to like demand that you play somebody? Let me just think of something.
No, Josh Hart will look good.
Right. Okay.
It's a great matchup. We just saw the same thing yesterday with the late Anunoby news. Josh Hart looked good and put up 55, and it felt like he didn't do anything all that unusually Josh Hart-like. But I think it's a boost to those guys. I think it's a boost to Hart, Bridges, Brunson, and Towns. And Campaign probably would look pretty good, but I don't know if you need to go to Campaign on this slate anymore. And this is a question that the MJ's asking in class. MJ's asking here. Real question: how much is too much to leave on the table? Because there's value in news. There's every single team in the NBA is playing tonight. Now, one game is not on the slate, but 14 games are on the slate. So
I'm not leaving anything.
You're not trying to leave money on the table by any means.
No, you're trying to get to like Jokic.
Yeah, and Wemby if you want to.
Whoever, you know what I mean? Like you're trying to get to those guys. Okay, so here's interesting. So 8:00, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 games. And I have like probably 0 to moderate interest at all in 3 of the games, you know, like Miami, OKC, Detroit, Chicago, Sacramento, New Orleans. I mean,
I think Sacramento, New Orleans is a great DFS game. I just don't like with Zion questionable, that midday downgrade, and they dropped his projection and all that. It could be Trey Murphy time again.
Yeah.
Missy at center, who's still got a 6x projection, 5,200.
Okay.
Jordan Hawkins would look good if no Zion. There's some plays in there. Maybe Karlo Matkovic. I mean, I know these guys are not the most exciting sounding names, but they've got some guys who are going to look pretty good if Zion is out.
So, but the real thing is the Milwaukee. Okay, so with Lillard out, let's see what that looks like. Let me see the value over there. So Kevin Porter Jr. is showing up at 7.5x value right now.
Yeah, I actually manually made him higher, but because Saberson had him so low. Oh no, now they don't. Oof. Again, I don't think it's a guarantee that he starts. I think there's every bit as good of a chance that the one who's not projected as well in Ryan Rollins may in fact be the one who gets the minutes. But Kevin Porter Jr.'s upside, it's really hard to ignore that. Yeah, I mean, you've got him shooting guard eligible also at 3,500. It's just, this is a wild one, man.
So whoever starts is going to look really good between those two.
Whoever starts is going to look really good. And even if Porter doesn't start, he's still probably a pretty good play. And also, not to mention the normal guys for Milwaukee are good plays. Like Bobby Portis, we've seen put up over 50 a million times lately.
Kuzma's now like a main shooter there.
Kuzma is, but like we all just know that the bus path with him is always there. You know?
Sure.
In fact, he just busted at 5,300, but Lillard played in that game. Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. These projections are wild. I don't know that I agree about the Saberson's 26, the 7.5x sort of. I don't know if I agree with that. It really just depends on what role they give him. I don't know what that role is going to be. Super talented, just a kind of a lunatic, not necessarily great at real life basketball, but like incredibly skilled. And if he starts, you're gonna have a hard time talking me off of him. However, if Ryan Rollins starts, I think whichever one starts is in play, and I think whichever one doesn't start is in play. But you have to understand there's some massive risk there.
Who is a better play if they start? Kevin Porter Jr. or Jared Butler?
Jared Butler.
Okay.
It's close. I mean, they both are good. Like if one outscores the other 40 to 35, that means they were both great plays, right?
Right. So you probably will end up playing.
Yeah.
Okay. If they both start.
Yeah.
Then 8:30 is the Bowl game standalone.
It's Bowl, and then it's also everybody else on Phoenix looks good because there's no Devin Booker.
Because there's no Devin
and no Bradley Beal.
And there's no Bradley Beal.
And no Grayson Allen.
And there's no Grayson Allen.
Who played yesterday, by the way.
Aside from that, they have no issues.
Yeah. It feels very much like Tyus Jones and Bol and Kevin Durant. Now they finally moved his projection up to 50, which is what it should be. Durant on a back-to-back, you could talk me out of. But I mean, he's projected at 5.6x at 9K, so hard to ignore him. Tough game. A team that he wants to be traded to, also that he's playing against, which whatever that means.
Okay.
Bless you. So
go ahead. Then after that, because we gotta get you out of here soon.
Yeah.
We got Lakers, Utah. What happened to the Jordan Goodwin value? What happened to him?
I think that play just kind of disappeared, huh?
Mike Conley is out.
Mike Conley is out. Okay, so that's look. We don't necessarily need to do the Nickeil Alexander-Walker thing, like we have been. Like we've done at times when he starts. It's fine. It's just there's other plays, and he's 5K. We don't need to do Rob Dillingham. I don't think we need to actively do much there, except for maybe just play more Anthony Edwards if he's in. That's probably what the answer would be there.
If he's in.
Yeah. Edwards is in. Okay, he is in. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? That's someone you could count on.
It just came across. Yeah, that guy. There's the guy I'm automatically just going to manually bump if he doesn't get bumped enough, in my opinion, because he's been insane lately, and it's not Milwaukee shorthanded. I still think I just like the Edwards. I just kept him in. I bumped his projection up to 52. Bruce Brown is available to make his Pelicans debut. So that kind of muddies up the rest of the Pelicans if there's no Zion. But honestly, Bruce Brown would be in play.
Right.
But he wouldn't be like the play, There's not like a must or anything. So you said the Lakers and Utah. And I did want to throw out that I still think Luka's a pretty good play tonight. I don't think there's any reason to have to do this Jordan Goodwin thing anymore at all. I don't think we have to do anything with Jared Vanderbilt. LeBron is always playable, but I think Luka's my favorite of the plays from the Lakers, but nobody who I think you need to play. They've got everybody probable now. Why is Austin Reeves? There's something wrong with it. Austin Reeves' projection is just completely broken. There's no way in any world it should be 30 fantasy points, but it doesn't matter. He's 8,500 anyway. Walker Kessler on the other side is an interesting tournament dart, but I had more interest in this game before all this other news came through. The Portland Denver game is interesting because I was gonna I think it's worth it, and again maybe because it just paid off for me. And am I missing something with this game? Because why? And I understand you blow somebody out, you factor it into the projections and everything like that, you factor it into the odds. Is there like a weird? I mean, Jokic is not questionable. It's an 11-point spread, but SaberSim's got it as a 2.5-point spread, which is wild to see. Donovan Clingan, Shaedon Sharp, they're all tournament.
Well, because they know. I mean, the Blazers are the best team in the NBA, right? I mean,
all right, there you go. But Scooter Henderson and DeAndre Ayton are out. It's kind of hard to think that nothing would be the right thing to do. I think taking shots on Banton might be my favorite way to approach them, personally. And then on the Denver side, we don't know about Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. If one of them doesn't play, the other one's a pretty good play. More than anything, Christian Braun is already, I think, a pretty good play, or at least a reasonable enough play to talk yourself into. Same with Strother. I don't like this projection they have on Christian Braun for what it's worth either. And just taking a quick look if anybody else. Jamal Murray's probable. Gordon. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's pretty much it. I did bump up Jokic quite a bit, though. I don't know why we wouldn't be able to get to him now. And I kind of want to force him in a little bit. And the last game, the Golden State at Dallas, I think Moses Moody is totally in play, but I don't think we need to do it as much anymore. I don't think we need to do the Draymond or Steph. I think all of these guys are totally fine for what it's worth, but they're just probably not going to make my lineups tonight. There's just no other way I can put it. There's too many other good plays. Oh, here's one I do like, Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler regardless of whatever else information we have out there. He He put up 47 in the last game and didn't do anything especially well. He's getting to the free throw line like crazy. 27% usage rate with Golden State. Should be able to beat up on Dallas a little bit. I like Jimmy Butler as a tournament dart. And on the Dallas side, look, we love PJ Washington, right? But we don't know. And I like Kyrie either way. I bumped his projection up, and I'm probably going to stick with that a little bit anyway, either way. But mainly it's PJ Washington who's the real projection darling from that game.
Jeremy Grant, is he going to be in this? Is that relevant to me?
Jeremy Grant is questionable officially. He did sit the last game. And it is relevant because we already lost Scoot and Ayton, and Scoot and Ayton both started the last game. So Banton might be more than just a sneaky. Banton might be an actual play tonight, and one no one's going to use because this other screaming value from this. Could you play Porter Jr., Butler, and Banton, for example, and then spend all the way up? I think that's a totally viable route to go. Okay, so let's see. Thoughts on Bol Bol? I played Bol Bol. I almost won everything last night with him. I'm going to probably do the same thing again tonight. That's the answer to that question. Do we like Kuzma? Definitely comes with a beware of bust sticker. Also a bad matchup, a game they could get blown out in. I'm sure I'll get to some Kuzma. I probably will be less than the field, but I wouldn't be surprised if I got somewhere near the 25% that he's going to be on. Favorite king. Oh, favorite king. That's easy. It's Sabonis. Actually really like Sabonis tonight for what it's worth.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good matchup. He's been excellent. So Sabonis, Monk, and Levine are all good, and DeRozan for that matter. I think they're all totally in play. They all project well. It's a great pace matchup. New Orleans went from being the slowest team to one of the fastest teams. I think that they're all fine. Sabonis is my personal favorite. And I am probably going to bounce soon. We did get it in Orlando. You know, one thing is, thank you, Orlando, in general. I've seen Orlando's. There's been times where Sheets and I come on and it's 9 a.m. my time, and Orlando's already got their lineup out. Orlando always gets their freaking lineup out. I love to see it. And Isaac News, he was questionable. 2 minutes later, he's out. Okay, that's what we want to see. We love that. Let's see what else. Oh, more projections updating, more and more. What happens when Kevin Porter Jr. doesn't start? As the question.
He probably smashes.
He still probably smashes, and people probably don't play him as much.
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of options. Luke Cornett is looking like a play now for Boston. I don't think I need to do that so much.
All right. So we'll again, I'm sorry, guys. There's just no way I could keep updating these projections throughout the night. I'll throw one more out there. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm probably gonna just go eat now for a little bit.
Okay.
And do my stuff. If I could get another projection update, I'll fire it up there. But I will see you guys for sure at 10:45 tonight.
Okay.
And that'll do it.
All right, buddy. Good luck. Good luck, everybody. Guys, I'll be in the Discord if people have questions, but it's going to be rough tonight. I'm playing a bunch playing for the millionaire thing. I'm playing a bunch of lineups, so it's a wild night. It's one of those crazy ones. I'll do the best I can. To answer the last question about Quickly, I'm a little bit skeptical about Quickly on a back-to-back, but everything else points in his favor. But I don't think you need to do it. There's plenty of point guards. I'll be below 20% probably. But I don't mind it.